Well, there we go. It took a couple of seconds here to get live. It's a little bit of a delay today. So, welcome, welcome. I'm Nicole. If you're coming in, let me know where you're watching from. Say hello. And if you're watching later, make sure you leave a hashtag replay. I'm really excited to see you here today. And all month we've been talking about anxiety. And so we're going to keep on that theme today. And I know a few of you have reached out to me recently. And I want to thank you for reaching out to share some of your personal stories as I've begun to share mine here. For those of you who don't know me yet, and maybe you're receiving this video from a friend who kindly shared it with you, then I want you to know that my name is Nicole Hernandez, and I am a hypnotherapist and conscious entrepreneur located in New York City. So I actually specialize in helping conscious high achievers unpack their fear and anxiety so that they can begin to live the life that they've always dreamed of. They can begin to live their most extraordinary life. And I don't know about you, but I certainly want to live that life too. All right, so let's get to it today. I'd love to know how many of you here, as you're watching, are actually have been experiencing maybe increased anxiety as you've been watching the news. Just let me know if you have been experiencing more anxiety as you watch the news. So I want to show you some stats here. In April 2020, yes, this year, 2 in 3 Americans say that watching the news is causing them anxiety. Are you surprised? I'm not. And I want to know who's that one person that's actually lying, because the truth is that for most of us, this has been a problem. We are watching the news, trying to get updates on what's happening with the coronavirus, what's happening with job loss, what's happening with the economy. And so many of us are constantly sinking into the news. Now, what you may actually not know is that when you watch the news, you're likely in a hypnotic state. Now, I've been talking to you about how hypnosis is so common. You experience it all day when you're daydreaming, when you watch a movie, but also when you're watching the news. And so let me give you the definition of hypnosis again so that you understand what I'm talking about here. Hypnosis is simply defined as focused attention in a conscious awareness. So having that focused attention and a conscious awareness, and also being more suggestible in that state. That's really the definition there. And so when you think about that, of having a focused attention on something, isn't that happening when you're watching the news? Yes, it is. And so as advertisers know this, the news knows this, they understand this concept when they're watching, and they want you to continue to pay attention. That's why you get the big headlines in red and things pop up, and there's a lot of catastrophizing as you're watching the news. What we know from studies is that when you even spend 14 minutes watching the news, that your anxiety levels go up. And what you may not know is that there's actually been new research to show what you can do to help with this. So they did a study where they took 2 groups, right? You had the control group and the regular group, that they were the other group, I should say, and their non-control group. So they gave one group a relaxation, 15 minutes of a relaxation meditation after they watched the news, after they were already feeling that anxiety. And then the second group, they made them watch a lecture. That was the control group. And so they found that just having the distraction of the lecture was not enough to actually reduce the anxiety. So if you were just to watch news, feel anxious, and then go wash the dishes, it probably wouldn't actually help with your emotional state. So what you could do is take the next 15 minutes, do some heart breathing, maybe do a little bit of relaxation, listen to a meditation. And if you were here on earlier this week, I did share an anti-anxiety tool with you called heart breathing, which it takes only 5 minutes. I think that's a really great way for you to go back and have a tool you can use after you watch the news, especially if you feel that anxiety. Now, I wanted to give you a whole 6 tips today, 6 right? Coming up. Oh, my nail's kind of dirty there. um, so let's go through this. So your first one, obviously, is to do the relaxation or the heart breathing to help you with that anxiety. Number two is to actually change the color of your TV to black and white. Why would you do that? Well, because when we see things more vividly, when they seem more real to us, more real life to us, we actually have more of an emotional effect. We feel those emotions more when things are in color versus black and white. Now, this is a simple NLP process. So, if you've ever studied NLP or neuro linguistic programming, you understand that when we can maybe shift something a different color, maybe make a memory black and white, it actually makes it less sticky for us, right? It doesn't have that emotional charge. So you can do the same thing with your actual TV. Change it to black and white. Just go to the color setting, take it all the way down. What else can you do? Number three, you can watch the news on a smaller TV or even on your computer. You know, we have all these huge TVs. I think our TV is like 60 something inches over here. And no wonder I feel so much anxiety after I watch the news. I mean, the news is blown up, so catastrophe is even bigger. So shrink it down to the size you're watching and maybe even push it a little further away. That again will help you disassociate from those jarring headlines. Now, let me give you another one. You can also not watch the news, not watch it actually, because so many of us are so visual that it might help you to read the news, to read text instead of seeing visual images. And you can still get the same information, know that you're staying aware, and also reduce your anxiety. Okay, here's another one. Read the news from other countries. So you could read the news from the UK, from Australia. If you're looking for an English version of the news, when they cover the United States, it's not as jarring and you still get the same information. You'll get the major headlines. Another thing you can do is just to shake it out, right? Just shake out your body. So they've done a lot of research on trauma and they found that animals actually shake when they have a traumatic experience. They shake their bodies. Now, as grown-ups, as adults, when we go from that place of being a child to a teenager to adult, somewhere along the line, someone tells us to be stoic, to pull it together. Don't show emotion. And so we start to then hold on and suppress these emotions that we're feeling, and it all builds up over time. But what you can do is actually just shake. And I do this with my clients during our sessions. We shake. If you have gone into a memory or something that you don't want to feel, maybe a bad emotion, just shake it out. Shake it out. And so you can do that too. That's a good way to just let it go, move on, and see how that works for you. So now you have 6 ways here to help you, especially if you are feeling anxiety after watching the news. So try them. Let me know how they go. If you know somebody that has been experiencing a lot of anxiety when they watch the news, please pass along this video to them. That would be greatly appreciated. If you're not already following along here, make sure that you follow my page, The Traveling Hypnotist, and go back and watch the video from earlier this week. I'm going to go ahead and leave that in the first comment so you can see that there. And if you'd like, you can also go to thetravelinghypnotist.com. There is a free relaxation audio there. It's about 12 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. You can listen to that. So it might be a nice way for you to offset some of the anxiety that you have been feeling. All right, there you go. I'll see you back next week. I'll be back on Monday. All right.